Ayo, Jay.
You can't hold me back, you can't hold me down. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. You can't hold me back, you can't hold me down. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. Whoa, on me, you know I'm the one and only. All them other ones is phony. Moving like a drum, I'm on beat. Whoa, yeah, you could put the pressure on me. I ain't never getting cold feet. Straight top where I'm gon' be. I got no time to debate. I put my reps in like every day. I keep it moving, I don't like the way. I just keep adding these wins to the plate. I ain't worried about a setback. With a loss, I'ma get back. Going up on a jetpack. All the haters, you can sit back. You can't hold me back, you can't hold me down. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. You can't hold me back, you can't hold me down. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. You can't hold me back. Can't hold me back. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. You can't hold me back. Hold me back, you can't hold me down. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. You can't hold me back, you can't hold me down. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. You can't hold me back. You can't hold me back. Put me in the game, gotta get it right now. You can't hold me back.
Ayo, Jay.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house. And woo. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Woo. Watch out, set it up, bet you I shut it down. Watch out, get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner. Got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare. I'm a line, but the winner about the cage. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Ayo, Jay. Ayo, Jay. Ayo, Jay. Ayo, Jay.
Breathe. Yeah. Either mix chemically. We got the remedy. Toilets and giants. Yeah. Selling the shit, we buying it. Read. Okay. We about it. But God did it.
Ayo, Jay.
Hey.
Ayo, Jay. Ayo,
God
Jay.
did it.
Ayo, Jay. Ayo, Jay.
Get it. I'ma 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 get it.
Ayo, Jay.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mrs. Candle's Hand. Bring it in here, Mrs. Candles. This is your first time introing the phone. Here we go. There's Mrs. Candle's hand. Oh, baby, it's smelling like a bull. Can you shut that door, please, Mrs. Candles? Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you never know when you're going to see one of those Mrs. Candles hands coming in and dropping some of that Andromeda-bound alien scam water that we like to drink on this channel. But, guys, we are seeing Bitcoin get a move. Not only a move to the upside, guys, but we are seeing Bitcoin get a move. And we moved right to a very specific key level of resistance that we may or may not be looking at on Friday's live stream. So we're going to be breaking down this price action, guys, as this Bitcoin ETF approval keeps looming. Are we going to see Bitcoin shoot up to that 48 to 50K level? I'm not going to lie. I got my fingers crossed, guys. Not that I'm making any decisions based off of that, but I'm really hoping we get up to that 50K level because this is something we've been looking at for quite some time, over 8 months. And if we hit that target, it'll just be personally fulfilling for me and validating to my analysis skills. But, guys, we got an amazing show for you tonight. We're going to be breaking down this recent pump that we got today. Is it a legitimate pump? Was it just a bunch of liquidations? Is it a dangerous pump where we're going to get a big move down, or is there some kind of health behind this, and can we continue back to the upside? We're going to be covering those key levels of support and resistance so we can keep crushing these targets and hopefully have price run into them like they have been so reliably in the recent past. So, guys, yeah, as we near that 50K level, I want to talk about kind of the bullish case Today I want to do something a little bit specific. I want to cover the bullish case with the ETF as well as the bearish case, guys, because as you know, typically we are not the ones who are going to be looking for long positions at resistance or even adding to spot long bags at resistance. So, we are going to have to approach these higher levels with caution, but we're going to be breaking all that down on today's live stream. We're going to be talking about if this does wind up being a sell the news event, how dangerous could this get? How low could we go? I'm going to be talking about exactly what I'll be looking at in a bearish case and a bullish case, as well as giving you guys those key targets to the upside and downside. But before we get into it, guys, smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure, where we'll be giving away some crypto, obviously, and then maybe we'll drop in some hats. If we get 550 likes on tonight's live stream, I will spin that wheel 15 times, and we will add some hats to that giveaway. But smash out that like button. But before we jump into the actual TA here, guys, let's say what's up to the chat. And first off, let's go ahead and start it off with a nice little bing bong. Shout out to Golden gifting those Frankie Candles memberships. Unstoppable, bro. This man, Golden, the GOAT, never stops gifting those memberships. Thank you so much for gifting those Frankie Candles members. Shout out to Golden. Thank you so much. And shout out to anybody who just got a membership. So before we shout out the Mafia, let's shout out Golden. He's been giving back unbelievably to this channel starting off 2024, or getting 2024 started off the right way, just like Bitcoin. But let's see who else we got in here. Show some Golden love. Show some love to Golden in the chat if you got those emojis. Let's get it. I even see some gray names giving him love. And remember, guys, if you don't have a membership yet, you hang out here. Chances are, if it isn't Golden gifting you one, which is going to be likely, but if not, people gift memberships all the time. We even drop some memberships. Actually, Tony D, if you're in here right now, drop some memberships on these people. Drop some memberships on these people. But let's see who else we got in here. Let's see. We got J Ross in the chat. What is going on? Said, show some Golden love to Golden. Shout out to you, bro. But shout out to you, John O, in the chat. We got Redman, Gavin. What is going on, bro? We got Lunar Beaches. Lunar Beaches, what is going on? Good to see you in here. We got Cuz I Can Bump It, or as I like to call him, Koozie Can Bump It. Shout out to you, man. We got Martin in the chat. We got Crypto Naughty. Behave yourself, Crypto Naughty. We don't need any problems in the chat. Shout out to you, bro. We got 12 Big, as always. We got Tony D. Tony D said, give me a second. Tony D's probably got like 11 things going on. Tony D, you actually, I don't know why I call him Tony D. He actually told me he was going to be working on some important stuff. Tony, take your time, bro. Do your thing. If you have a chance, jump in, drop some memberships. If not, we'll just double up on tomorrow's live stream. But I know Golden's holding it down, so shout out to Golden. But the Godfather, guys, we got the Godfather in the chat. Show some respect to the Godfather. You do not want to disrespect him, and that is D.Godfather. Shout out to you. We got Guy in the chat. We got Devano. We got Jimbo. Shout out to Jimbo. Said, thanks for showering us. Shout out to Jimbo. Bullish on Parade. And last but not least, we got Crypto Cowboy and... it's going too fast. I can't see it. French Toaster. Shout out to French Toaster, NJ9, Brian Peterson, and all of the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. And without further ado, start spitting that sauce. Take a look at this saucy price action on Bitcoin. Let's get it. So here we are, guys, on the Bitcoin chart, sitting at a pretty interesting level, right? We're sitting right here at our next target for Bitcoin, which we just keep tapping these levels, guys. And I kind of want to talk about how we've handled this price action coming up. Obviously, we're going to talk about Tony D. Shout out to Tony D. Jack that up, bro. Drop 50. Drop 50 on the people. But I appreciate Tony D, not just yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Shout out to Tony D. We're just going to do it sporadically. I like it. Shout out to Frankie Candles in the chat. Let's get it. But taking a look here, guys, obviously we're going to talk about where I think Bitcoin can go in the near future as we continue to creep our way up to that golden pocket here between 48 and 50K. We also have a bunch of, there we go. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you, bro. But not only do we have the golden pocket up here, we also have a bunch of other key levels. We got a value area high. Shout out to Darren Does Things for pointing out a naked point of control we also have up here. And as you guys know, we have been looking at this level right here, which is a high volume node / Bybit point of control. These are two levels we were looking at on Friday's live stream, and for a few very specific reasons, we were actually expecting a break of these highs to come visit this level. And if you guys watched on Friday, you will know we were kind of analyzing our little triangle, right? Now, as you guys know, I wasn't really paying attention to this triangle just because it's not really oftentimes a part of my trading plan. Now, I do pay attention to these patterns, especially when they're forming like on the daily or something, because this could give you some significant insight into where price is going to go. But you guys will know we were actually looking at some very specific things within this triangle that kind of made me not flip my bias, but open my eyes or open my mind to a little bit more of a bullish possibility, right? And the reason for that, well, it was a few different things, right? But number one, you guys will remember that we were talking about these big old wicks on Bitcoin. Let me go ahead and get rid of this volume profile real quick and redraw our triangle. And you guys can see, right, we have these big, gigantic wicks. We got a big wick down here, big wick right here, and we talked about not only, what was actually happening within these candlesticks that were pointing to potential higher prices for Bitcoin, but we were also looking at a bearish signal that wound up not confirming, right? So there's actually a few things I really want to talk about today because, again, if you watch the show, this is kind of the importance of being able to flip from either neutral to bearish or bearish to neutral or neutral to bullish or bearish to bullish. You have to be, as a trader, able to flip your sentiment, depending obviously within the context of the chart you're trading, to bearish or bullish on the flip or the drop of a hat, right? You got to be able to flip-flop back and forth. And this is a perfect example, right? Because once you get more information on the chart and you're able to look into things more, you can actually take new information away and potentially change what you're looking for to happen, right? So as we were sitting here, obviously, guys, we were looking for a move up to that $46,000 NPOC before we were able to catch a beautiful short position from this level in the premium Discord, catching this full move to the downside all the way down to this naked daily point of control where we wound up getting some support. Now, this was where we were sitting, right? As we are moving up here, guys, we have been handling these shorts with care, right? We've been pretty, I keep saying, right, conservative with the shorts and greedy with the longs, right? Because of the macro trend that we're in right now, which is clearly to the upside, especially with all the bullish news brewing with the ETF imminent approval, right? Imminent approval. Imminent, right? But, who knows, right? I think it's likely to get approved, but, we got to wait to see what happens. And this is why I'm going to kind of talk about both cases playing out here, because we have to be aware, although things are very bullish right now, and we could easily see Bitcoin see higher prices very soon, we have to be open to the idea that we could see a sell the news event, and we have to be prepared because we can make money if this thing goes up or down. So just like we were looking for a move to this 46K MPOC, we were looking for a short, but treating it as a scalp, understanding that we were likely going to continue up, and if it wound up being the area where we got the big breakdown, no worries, right? We took a small small trade, and we would have broken down and made more profit. However, once I personally started analyzing the order flow on my own time, really understanding what was going on within these big daily wicks, it did seem, right now this is the Bitstamp chart, right? So if you go to buy the wicks will be a bit more aggressive, right? Because that's where people are getting liquidated. But we talked on Friday about how these wicks were able to kind of give me more of a bullish bias, right? Because not only does a long wick on the bottom of your candlestick give you, should that give you a bullish sentiment, at least looking at that candle, understanding that what that means is that as price was pushed to the downside, it could mean a few different things, right? But the reason why oftentimes having a long wick on the bottom of your candle is more bullish is because it just simply shows strong buying pressure, right? It shows that price came down and then the bulls just come in and eat that candle all the way back up. But that is not all that we had happen here, right? And this was kind of the main focus of Friday's live stream was like, hey, these wicks, this one and this one right here, were kind of making me think like, hey, we may be able to roll back to the upside, amongst other things as well. And we're going to go over those today, and then we're going to talk about where price is likely to go from here. But as we see these liquidation wicks, right, we were able to see that there were a lot of liquidations taking place here and here, kind of showing us that this was not really a quote-unquote healthy move down, rather just the longs getting absolutely destroyed before having price come right back up and close back within our triangle, right? This is a little bit more bullish because, again, this doesn't show us, this candle does not tell me that the market is bearish and people have a lot of interest in selling. What it shows me, and we were able to do this by looking at the actual order flow, things such as open interest, etc. I'm not going to get into that. We get into that a little bit more in the premium Discord. However, by looking at certain things such as open interest and the wrecked bubbles on ExoChart showing you where people were getting liquidated, we were able to see that this was not really a healthy move down, yet just people getting wrecked. And when that happens, oftentimes you will get a continuation to the upside. So we saw that happen here as well as here, which gave me a little bit more of an inkling that we could get a move to the upside. And on top of that, guys, you will know the one bearish signal that I was looking at over the weekend was the potential daily bearish divergence that we were looking at specifically because if we were to put that daily bear div in at this 46K MPOC that we rejected on the 2nd of January, this could have shown us a stronger signal of weakness, right? And this would let us know, hey, daily bear div at a key naked point of control could give us more downside. So this was the thing I was looking at over the weekend, and I want you guys to notice something. We did not get that bear div to print. This is why you don't front run signals, right? Look how close we got to the zero line with the VWAP. Almost printed that red dot, but we simply did not get it, right? And if you were looking at this, you would have never seen that bull div bear div confirm, and you would have known, hey, between that and these bullish candles and the fact that we were actually trying or attempting to break back out of our volume profile. As you guys know, we've been looking at this kind of range right here. We were starting to play around with this value area high once again, potentially showing us that we could break out and come to higher prices. And then on top of that, we knew that we also had a lot of liquidity as we were looking at the liquidation heat maps, understanding that we did have a lot of liquidity sitting above those $46,000 highs. Let me go ahead and Let me go ahead and pull this on a little bit of a lower time frame. You guys also know, right, we knew that we had this big chunk of liquidity up here. I believe we looked at this on Friday as well. And you guys know when you have a big area of liquidations or stop losses or just simply put liquidity in the market, price will gravitate towards this like a magnet, right? So we were able to know, like, hey, between all of these things confluing, right, or coming into confluence, right, or agreeing with each other, we were able to take all this information and come to a conclusion that we would likely continue to the upside, enabling us to hold our long positions and stay out of bad shorts, right? So these were some of the things we were looking at to anticipate this move to the upside. We had the bullish wicks. We had the liquidity above. This high volume node or Bybit POC that we had sitting up here also likely to act as a magnet. And on top of that, we never got that daily bear div to print, letting us know that it was going to be likely for a move to the upside. And I just want to really hammer this home because it really does show that you have to be able to flip-flop and take the new information you're given and add it into your analysis, because you may look bullish or bearish one day, but if you see something happen and you get new information on the chart, you have to be able to flip-flop and then anticipate that next move, right? And this is how you make money in the markets. Now, moving on, this is how we knew, or how we, not how we knew, right? Because we could have been wrong. Let's be clear, right? We're not right 100% of the time, and we could have easily been wrong. But the reason why we were looking up for Bitcoin was because those were the reasons why, right? And I tell you this so you guys can take this information and apply it to the next move, right? So that's how we knew that we assumed, this is why we assumed that it was going to be somewhat likely to get that move to the upside, right? That if this, then that, if the div doesn't confirm, if we get back above the value area high, then we could see a move up to the not only the 46K MPOC or the current yearly highs, but potentially see our next target sitting right here, which again is simply put just a high volume node as well as our point of control on the Bybit chart, right? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can see here as you pull your range here on the bull market top, you can see at around 47.3, we do have the point of control of this range, making it very likely to visit this level. Because as you guys know, once you flip that value area low to support, whether you're on the 1 minute or the 2 year, once you flip that value area low to support, you're likely to come up to your POC. And then if you could break your POC, you're likely to come up to that value area high. Now, you guys might think to yourself, like, why are these levels looking a little different than he usually looks at, right? And that's because we simply look at these levels on the Bitstamp chart, which are still valid, right? Let me turn off some of these levels just to clear things up for you guys. I don't want anyone getting confused, but you can see here on the Bitstamp chart, we have a slightly different profile with our POC down here at 34.4, right? Or 34.5. Now, obviously, we flipped that to support. We came right to the POC. We flipped the POC to support, and then it was off to the races to potentially visit this value area high. And the value area highs play out more often than they don't, and if this is not proof to you that you should be studying these tools and incorporating them into your trading strategy if it works for you. I'm not saying if what you're doing is working that you should stop doing that. If what you're doing is working, then stick to that. But This is one of the most reliable things you can look at in my experience. And here we are knocking on the door of that 48 to 50K golden pocket / value area high. But understanding that we have that Bybit chart as well, you have to be looking at these levels on top of the, you have to jump around exchanges, right? Because this is still a relevant level, right? But this is on a different chart. This POC is at 37.3. This POC was at 34.4. So I kind of have these levels marked out on multiple charts. But that is why this next target, that's why this next target was sitting right here. Let me turn it back on. That's why we had that level at 37.3, right? Or I'm sorry, 47.3. And that's why, I mean, where are we sitting right now, guys? Where did we get that resistance at? Right at that high volume node, right at that Bybit POC. Right, and when I say high volume node, guys, I'm simply just referring to the visible range volume profile. If we pull that up real quick, let's go ahead and hide the TA. You can see we have a little bit of a high volume node here, right? So that was likely, we knew if we were able to break above this high volume node, right? There's a little bit of a gap all the way up to 47.3, where we were already looking at because of the point of control, and there's your high volume node likely to give you a little bit of turbulence. Now, it doesn't make it. You might be thinking to yourself, well, okay, cool, awesome, that's all fine and dandy, but are we going to break this level? Are we going to come higher? And we're going to answer that question right now. Well, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that right now. I can't answer the question for you because nobody knows what's going to happen, right? Not even me, right? And no one else, trust me. And if they're telling you they do know, it's a little bit misleading, right? No one knows. You might be able to make really good educated guesses, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. But let's take a look at this, right? So let's turn the TA back on. And again, I just like to show you guys how we got here, right? Yesterday, on Friday, we were flipping a little bit more bullish because of those wicks, as well as some other things we just went over. And now we sit on our hands. I was looking for a short here at this MPOC or the current yearly highs at 46K. I was looking for a swing failure pattern at this level, but we simply did not get it, right? So I did not take the trade. What do? We sit on our hands and we wait for the next target. Where's the next target? Right here. And that is where we are sitting right now. So now we come to the question of what comes next. Now, this is a little bit, we're going to have to work with me a little bit here, right? Because we have the highly anticipated Bitcoin ETF. A lot of people think it could get approved by Wednesday. A lot of people think it has to happen this week, right? And I know that the sentiment is that it is likely going to get approved. So I'm going to give you guys a bullish case and a bearish case, right? Because again, anything can happen. Now, there are some worries that, they may not approve it, right? Because they're worried about manipulation, etc. So, we have to be open to anything happening here, right? And to be honest with you, I always try to think of what the easiest thing to do is, right? Like, what is the easiest thing? Like, what would be the best scenario that would take the least amount of effort to make money with, right? And to me, that is just simply buy right now, right? And then wait for the ETF news to bring us to $1 million, right? So likely, in my head, I just naturally resist those thoughts, right? I'm naturally going to resist the idea of just, it's going to get approved on Wednesday and we're going to go to 100K, right? It's just a little bit too easy. And typically, when retail has that thought, guys, it oftentimes, they get wrecked because of the buy the rumor, sell the news, right? And we have to keep an eye out for a sell the news event here. Now, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to happen. Excuse me, guys, I'm losing my voice. Getting a little excited here for this Bitcoin pump. But I'm going to give you guys the bullish case and the bearish case, right? Now, obviously, this is a lot of FOMO buying, right? You see the articles today, FOMO buying FOMO buying erupts as Bitcoin ETF rumors continue to linger, or not rumors, but, decision looms, right? So a lot of this is probably, even just, you have to think about this, right? Once you break like 30K, right, people start coming in, probably a lot of FOMO buying, and we're going to talk about this area down here very, very soon, right? And it might be part of the bear case. But if we do wind up getting an approval, guys, I kind of see a few things happening, right? Number one, we are so close to our final golden target of 48 to 50K. So naturally, I am going to hold on, and I am still, my plan has not changed, guys. And hopefully after you watch my channel or my content over a significant period of time, you will notice that I stick to my plan. Now, my plan can change, but I always stick to the plan. I never have a plan and then see something that veers off the plan and then I make that decision, right? I always stick to my plan. And right now, my plan is still to look for major swing short. My next major area where I will be looking for swing shorts will simply be at around this golden pocket, where we not only have the macro golden pocket, we also have the value area high of this entire range. and the naked point of control at 50K. Shout out to Darren Does Things. Thank you for pointing that out. So if we do get that approval, guys, what if we get another little squeak to the upside and we finally start playing around with this golden pocket? They're all eyes on the macro golden pocket, right? If we are able to get the move all the way up to that level, this is where I'm hunting for my next major swing short position. Because as you guys know, we've been shorting all the way up, right? And a lot of people will be like, why is this guy shorting when you're in an uptrend, right? We understand the context of our trades, right? So we looked for a short here in the premium Discord. We took it. We profited. We got out of the trade. We treated this as a scalp, understanding that the macro analysis was pointing to more upside. We were not looking to bet the farm on this short and hold it to zero, right? So we were able to profit off of moves like this, moves like this, moves like this, and moves like this, catching those scalp shorts in the uptrend to the upside, right? So as we come up here, I will simply, right? And again, that next level we were looking for a short at was right here. Didn't get the confirmations, didn't take the trade, right? Held the scalp long, held the swing long, and now we're at our next target. We could potentially look for shorts here, but naturally, especially with the ETF approval, looming. We're waiting for that decision to come out. This is a high impact news event for Bitcoin. So naturally, we have to be cautious with the shorts, right? Because the natural thought is that if it gets approved, we will see at least some kind of push to the upside, even if it is going to be a sell the news event. Typically, these sell the news events, like, they don't always, like, as soon as the news comes out, it just insta nukes from there. Oftentimes, it's way trickier than that. You get a big rip to the upside and then get some kind of swing failure pattern and then a big rejection back down, right? So if it gets approved, we could potentially get another push to the upside, guys, and we are finally at the point in this price action where that next target is my big level of resistance, where we could finally start looking for some not crazy short positions, but bigger swing short positions, right? Where I would be willing to potentially load up on a bigger swing short, right? And even if we continue to push higher, I may look to enter. Now, again, this is going to be based off what the price action looks like when we get there. Things can change. But as of right now, if we get, say, the approval on Wednesday, right, and we get that big move up, or that little, at this point, kind of like a little squeak to the upside, this is the next key level of resistance. Now, I may look to enter low leverage, high capital, right? And if we continue up a little bit, I may look to add to that longer swing short position up until the 786, right? Now, this is coming in at, I almost said at $786. This is the 786 coming in at 50. Now, I know this sounds crazy, guys. 57,5. Let me get the exact number for you. 57,547, right? That is the macro 786. And in my opinion, if we continue up, right, because we don't know. Typically, if you come up to an important golden pocket like this is where you would want to be looking for at least some kind of rejection, right? But if we squeak up above it, sometimes you can go for that next little 786 level. And if you don't get the rejection here, oftentimes you will get the rejection at that 786. We look at this on low time frame. Like, we've seen trades like this play out on the live stream on lower time frames, where it's like, hey, I'd be sitting out on the short at the golden pocket because I think you're going to squeak up to that 786, and then you go for the full 786 retracement, and then you get the correction, right? So we have to be open to that on something like a 12-hour, 16-hour daily chart as well. So if we come up here, I'm looking to enter some shorts, right? Based off the information we're given here. If it calls for the short, I will take it. And if we continue up, I may look to add and cover the position as we come up. But once we crack that 786, that is kind of where I would be willing to if we decisively break the 786, right? I don't care if we wick above it, but if we start getting up here with higher time frame candles, that's where I'm willing to potentially just kind of take the loss, lick my wounds, and then take the next trade. So that is basically still my plan, right? The only exciting thing here right now, or the only real huge update, is the fact that we are creeping closer and closer to our macro target. So my major plan really stays the same up here. So if we get that bullish move, that's the if this, then that statement. We're looking for the bearish confirmations up here, all the way potentially up to the 786. Now, if you wind up getting a sell the news event up here, that's where you could potentially catch the bigger short position down. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, Frankie, if this is a buy the rumor, sell the news event, what are you looking at, right? Are you looking at this to be like, oh my God, we got the ETF got approved and we're looking for a gigantic move down to nothing? I actually have some very specific places I'm looking at, right? And it has a lot to do with, I guess, like market psychology, right? The psychology of traders and just kind of like understanding where liquidity lies. And it has a lot to do. And then, guys, can we just take a moment before we move into where I think if we come up and we do see the bearish case play out and we get a sell the news event, before we talk about the targets of how low it could potentially go, and then we'll cover the bullish case if we wind up really breaking out how high we could go, can we break the all-time high this year? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it. But before we cover these lower levels to the downside, guys, I want to talk really quickly about why we are actually going to be looking down here. And it has a lot to do with where the liquidity lies. And if we are to get that move to the downside, you have to understand where the liquidity is sitting, right? And likely, look at this, really this entire move to the upside. This is extremely overextended in my opinion, right? Now, it doesn't mean that I think we're going to zero, but if we do get a move down, the major key levels, we've covered them many times on the channel, but I want to talk about the reason why I would look for a move down, right? And if we did come down, you have to understand a lot of people who are long, right? A lot of people who are longing all throughout this price action, they leave behind liquidation levels and stop losses, right? So, people who might be longing this range probably going to have their stop losses and liquidation levels sitting down here. If you're longing on these pullbacks, your liquidations and stop losses are likely sitting below there. If you're longing this dip, right, you come down, you find a correction, a little bit of a retracement, you enter a long for more upside, their liquidations and stop losses are likely going to be sitting below, right? If you're long down here, your liquidations and stop losses are likely going to be below, right? What does this do? This opens up, or doesn't open up, but this adds or gives us a ton of liquidity, right? I know a lot of people, it's like, I feel like liquidity is the buzzword of the trading world, and I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like it. I feel like liquidity is like a way to try to confuse people who don't know what they're looking for or don't know what they're doing, right? But if we have all of this liquidity sitting from all these people longing all these dips, right? Sometimes price, now I want to be clear, just because you know you have liquidity below does not mean that you're guaranteed to go fill that liquidity or go grab it, right? Go grab it. Or essentially, by saying grab liquidity, you're essentially just talking about wrecking the longs or wrecking the shorts, right? But as you look at this, understanding where that liquidity is sitting, you guys, if you watch the live streams, you know, right? Like almost every move that we've gotten up to a significant point had some kind of liquidity theory involved, right? We may have been looking at the chart. Let's say, we're looking at the 1 month chart right here. And the reason we were looking for this push to the upside over these yearly highs was because we knew we had this big chunk of liquidity, and we can see this. We can see this marked out on the heat map, right? Now, this is High Block Capital for anyone who's interested in checking it out. I believe we have a discount code for you guys, but that is not, let's just talk about the heat map, right? This is why we know, right? We knew we had a significant amount of liquidity above here, and we knew that if we broke this high at 46K, we would likely get a lot of liquidations to occur. What does that mean? Or not even liquidations, but on top of liquidations, also stop losses, right? And when you get stopped out of a short trade, it creates a market buy, adding what? Creighton C, exactly. Buy pressure to the market. He's in the premium Discord, so he knew what we were talking about earlier, so he was able to answer that question super quick. Shout out to Creighton C. Captain Kirk said, phone's going to die, fam. Love you guys. Captain Kirk, I'm glad I got you right before you left. We love you back. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. But we knew that, amongst other reasons, right, we had these big bullish liquidation wicks to the downside. We got accepted back into the triangle. The bear div on the daily never printed. We also had all this liquidity, this chunk of liquidity sitting up here, which we know acts as a magnet. The liquidity acts as a magnet. That's why we anticipate the move up. And then what happens? You come and you grab all this liquidity. And right now, we have another decent chunk here right at 48K, which is our first, not final, but our first major target. And if we hit that level, guys, we're going to have a party. We're going to have a party. But we do have a bunch of liquidity sitting up there as well. So could we go grab that liquidity? It is definitely in the cards. So this is what I mean, right? Now, as we take a look here, understanding that a lot of people's stop losses are likely just like all in this area, right? And this is all going to make sense as we continue on here, guys, because this is a very key level as well, the POC of the macro range. But if we were able to get another move up into this golden pocket and get our bearish confirmations, let's just assume that we don't rip to the 786 and we get that short position up here and we wind up getting a move down. Where could we potentially see this go, right? Now, I would be obviously keeping an eye on our volume profile locally, right? So we come back down, right? Let's say we push up, we get a big move down. This, wherever this range is going to be likely a place that I'm looking at, because once we hit that value area high, that's going to give us an idea, right? So, likely if we get a push up, this level is going to move, right? This value area high is going to move. But if we come up, right? Assume we come up, bada boom, bada bing, and then we come down. Once we hit wherever that value area high is, this is going to be a key level, because if we don't get a strong bounce off that level, we could get accepted back into the range, and this, in my opinion, is where things get a little bit more bearish, and that is where I would potentially be looking for all of these gaps, gaps or liquidity to get filled, right? And again, you could be looking at things such as fair value gaps, single prints, etc., essentially all showing imbalance in the market. And the thing about the markets is it likes to balance itself. So we may wind up coming down here to stop out all these longs or wreck all these longs who may still be sitting down here if we get the major rejection. So really what I'll be looking for, the next major level of resistance. I'm not talking about where we could bounce or buy the dip. I'm talking about major dump happens where I'd be looking for a significant bounce. And it's going to come here at the point of control, sitting at 34.4. And this is the point of control of the macro range, right? Again, point of control of the macro range. I'll hide the next target so we don't get confused. Bada boom, right? So you have your value area low, POC, value area high. And again, like the volume profiles are simply just magical, guys. Shout out to anybody who saw the video 9 months ago, not 9 months ago, like 7 or 8 months ago, where we were sitting somewhere, I think either here or maybe even right here, looking to potentially flip that level to support the value area low. And then where we were looking for the rest of the what we were looking the rest of the bear market to look like was to fill this whole range up to the value area high. And we are just so dang close. I really hope we hit that level. But if we do come down, I will potentially look all the way down to this point of control at 34.4. This is the first macro level of resistance. And it's simply not only could we potentially fill all that because of all the stop losses and liquidation levels sitting below this range and all of these swing points, but on top of that, it would simply be right in line with our simple volume profile. You look for the longs at the lows, go to the POC, flip the POC, you look to come to the high. Once you come to the high and potentially deviate, where we could go grab that 786, right? And then once you're above the value area, that is typically where you're looking at the asset as overbought. When you're above the value area high, this is where you're thinking of this as expensive Bitcoin. And if you get bearish signals, you could look for a short to potentially revisit the range, get accepted back inside, and then come back down to the POC. And then if you lose the POC, you'd look to come down to the value area low. And granted, this played out perfectly, and obviously we're looking at a daily volume profile here, right? Like this was pulled on the daily. It's a very macro range. So we expected this to take about a year to fill, which it did. It's like amazing. Sometimes, we're not right all the time. When we're wrong, right? We're right more than we're wrong, but we are wrong, right? No one's right 100% of the time, and I'm never going to be someone who's up here acting like I definitely know where price is going. But what we could do is find the sound information, the actual data, the numbers, and come to sound, educated conclusions based off that information. And by doing that, incorporating all that information with the volume profiles, we were able to expect this range to fill in about, in the long term. And here we are. So in that same way, we could potentially look for, now I'm not saying that just because when we look at the lower time frames on the volume profiles, typically, right, like this volume profile, you could simply trade this as a range, right? So you come back, you come to the low, you can look to go to the high, you go to the high, you look to go to the low, you go back to the high, you can look for a short back to the low. But here's the thing, right? Just because we're at the value area high, even if we get bearish confirmations, I would say it's probably not as likely to just simply have price go back to the POC and back to the value area low, just because it's such a macro level or a macro range. But if we do get some kind of massive move down, this is definitely going to be the first level. And it just has everything to do with the volume profiles, right? And then obviously we have some intermediary levels in here, some more local levels. But that's basically, that's what we're looking at. And again, not just the liquidity and potential longs that could just get absolutely slapped here. Hopefully people are taking profits on their trades as they come up. But, those are some reasons why we could potentially see, if we get a bearish reaction or intense bearish reaction, that's the next real key level. Again, we have local levels, but really that next big level is 34.4. And then again, 28.8K at the macro value area low would be a level to watch, at least at this moment, I'm not expecting that level, right? But, as the price action develops, if price ever does look like it wants to go there, we will be the first people to tell you. So those are kind of the big areas I'm looking at to the downside, right? As we approach the value area high, as we approach the macro golden pocket. And it doesn't mean that even if we came down to the 28.8K value area low, it doesn't mean that I'm throwing in the towel and saying the bull market's over, we're going to 3K. But guys, we got a big move up, right? Like just this leg up is huge, right? We filled this whole range with almost no significant pullback, right? We got a significant pullback here, significant pullback, and then it's basically been up and to the right since. So we could potentially see a significant pullback. Obviously, this cluster and value area down here is something to look at as well, but we'll cover those levels as price action develops, right? If we get close to those levels, we'll find the local support. But just in the grand scheme of things, we've seen this fill beautifully. If we get the rejection at the value area high or even on a deviation from that value area high, looking down towards the POC and then naturally the value area low. And as you guys can see, we also have this macro fib pulled from the low to the high, right? This golden pocket was pulled from the high to the low. This fib retracement, this golden pocket, this 786, was pulled from the low to the high. So what does this mean? If, right, going back to 2019, we compare this all the time, right? We got a bear market rally right into that golden pocket, right? We never went to the 786, right? We're in a little bit of a different situation here because, actually not really. But if we came up, rejected the golden pocket in 2019 during the bear market rally, finally got that significant correction, and then I kind of ignored this. This was March of 2020, Black Swan event. If this didn't happen, likely, right? If this Black Swan did not happen, likely this price action probably would have looked something like this. Right? Just kind of like accumulation before the next halving in the bull run. So if we are going to see something similar, we could see the rejection at the golden pocket or 786, and that's where we get the significant move down, right? But did this mean that the bull market was over and the 4-year cycle was broken and we're going to, $200? No, it didn't. What happened? We simply went for a 786 retracement, right? And that's that level that I just had pulled up here, right? This 786, this golden pocket. We're going to talk about why this is a saucy level in just a second. But what happened here, we came up, golden pocket, got the big move to the downside. We stuck the golden pocket slightly. This would be a natural place where I would be looking for longs. Got a nice little bounce off that. And then we broke through, and everyone was like, oh, my God, we're going to zero. We're breaking the golden pocket. We're breaking the 786. But in hindsight, granted, looking in hindsight, guys, is much easier. This is much easier to do in hindsight, right? Like when you're in the moment and you're seeing these panic wicks break that 786, even on the daily, right? Like looking at this on the daily time frame, like you're starting to close candles below that 786. So it's not easy, but in hindsight, what did we actually do? We simply just came down for a 786 retracement. We stuck that 786, and then boom, a little bit more accumulation, and then off into the parabolic bull run, right? So if we're going to see something similar happen like that, then we could potentially look for a move down to that POC, and then maybe even that value area low, which is in perfect confluence with that macro golden pocket pulled from the low all the way to our bear market rally high, right? If you want to call it that. So there you go. So two very, very important macro levels. These are must-watch levels, guys. And the reason, again, is because not only because it's a part of our range, but if we get down to this POC and we do not hold it, it is going to give us insight. And once we start getting stuck under that POC, we could say to ourselves, hey, more downside is likely to come. And we could set our targets to that value area low golden pocket where we could then again finally start looking for longs, right? And then if you lose that golden pocket, come down to the 786. Now this is sitting at $23,000, guys. You can imagine the bears coming out of the woodworks if we come see these prices. The bears are going to be like, I told you, we're going to 3K, you morons. And chances are, in my opinion, unless we see something that's never happened before and we're going to go ahead and make another bear market low, those bears are going to wind up just calling for 10K and then missing the dip buy opportunity before the move to the upside, right? And so that's basically what we're looking at. And this is if history repeats itself. And people always say history doesn't always repeat itself, but it oftentimes rhymes. So that's the sauce on Bitcoin, guys. That is what I'm looking at for a move to the upside before getting a bigger correction to the downside. Now, let's cover if things go absolutely, I've been saying this a lot lately, if things go absolutely super moon, Lambo candle, Neil Armstrong, bulls strapped to rocket ships floating around Mars, and we see an absolute blow off top, and this thing just goes absolutely ballistic, which I know a lot of people are kind of anticipating because of the way the gold ETF chart looks, right? And I'll be honest, guys. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I'm some kind of ETF expert, right? I am a trader. I would say, a technical analyst expert, maybe even like a crypto expert, but I'm not going to sit up here and talk to you guys about hash rates, right? Like, I'm not that guy. But so I just want to point that out, right? Like, but let's take a look at the gold ETF chart, right? Let me just give me a second to pull this up. A lot of people are basically expecting the gold ETF or the Bitcoin spot ETFs to mimic the gold ETF charts, right? And here's the gold ETF chart. Essentially, gold price, I assume this is when it got approved. And it's basically just been absolutely, like, it just absolutely went crazy, never went down ever again, just went straight up, right? Obviously went down again, but you get the point, right? And I think a lot of people are anticipating this. But from what I hear from people who know much more about ETFs than I do, that's not necessarily the case, right? So again, we have to be careful, because if that were to happen, that would be a complete break of the 4-year cycle. I think Plan B came out and said he was looking for a $500 and something thousand Bitcoin. Is that possible? Potentially. But it's likely not just going to be a straight line up, right? So with that being said, let's just assume that we did get, this is not going to assume that we just go up to $1 million over the next year, right? We're just going to say that's probably unlikely. And I'm going to talk about some more realistic levels, right? So right now, this is the bullish case. We just went over the bearish case. If we go up and then come down, that's the plan. Now, this is the if we go up, what is the plan, right? So if we get a move above this value area high, we flip the 786 and things just go absolutely ballistic. The next major level I'd be looking at is going to be here at the 1236 at $81,613. Now, again, I'm not necessarily saying that is going to be likely, right? But if we were to shoot up, this is, in my opinion, the next technical level we are likely to respect. This is simply a Fibonacci level, and you can't look left, right? When you're looking for resistance, you're typically going to look left. But when you break an all-time high, you cannot look left. So, again, I do think this is a little less likely, but not impossible. So I want to give you guys the number anyway. $81,613. If we were to somehow break this all-time high from the 2021 bull run and put a new all-time high in this year, could potentially see it run up into about $81,000. Obviously, the 786 sitting at $57,000. But again, I want to be clear, guys. The real target for me right now, assuming things aren't going to break the cycle and stuff, golden pocket between 48 to 50K still remains a major, major level. So that's the plan, guys. This is the rundown on Bitcoin. We got 1,300 people concurrently watching. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us through this Bitcoin Alpha. Shout out to you guys. Smash that like button if you guys learned anything through this or found this insightful in any way. Smash that like button, or if you like babies or puppies, smash that like button. If we get 750 likes on today's live stream, I will bring somebody in to the premium Discord. Let's do it. So smash that like button, guys. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And with all that being said, we covered the bullish case for the Bitcoin ETF, the bearish case for the Bitcoin ETF, and kind of what we're looking for at all those levels and how I would be treating both of those situations. Now let's do some quick analysis on Market Cypher, as well as just our general run through of the analysis that we do every day. And then we're going to move on to the altcoins. So here we are. Weekly green dot, somewhat of a good sign here. That could be, a sign for more upside. But again, not confirmed. We still have 6 days and 1 hour to confirm this signal. And there it goes. Disappears live on the stream, baby. Bing bong. There it goes. We're going to zero, guys. Weekly green dot's gone. We're going to zero. Somebody call Alexandra G. We're going to zero. I'm kidding. Shout out to Alexandra. You're just the first person I saw in the chat. Shout out to Alexandra G. Said hashtag value. Let's go. Hit me with a hashtag value in the chat if you guys are finding this helpful. Hey, Randy's in the chat. Shout out to Randy. I have not even looked at chat once. I'm just trying to get through all this saucy TA. Shout out to RPM87 said 169x short. Let's go. Shout out to Randy. Thank you for being here, Randy. I appreciate you. Sorry if I missed any chats. We will come back to chat, but we got a lot to cover here as Bitcoin is getting that move to the upside. So there you go, right? Perfect example of why you don't want to front run signals, because you would have been like, oh my God, green dot long. And this may never come back, or it might come back in 5 seconds. So you want to wait for this to confirm. But other than that, like, VWAP's coming up, money flow coming back up on the weekly. So if we confirm that green dot, going to be a sign of some more upside. And then your 5-day green dot is printing, your 6-day green dot printing, 4-day, 3-day green dot confirmed. A lot of these higher time frames have somewhat reset, right, to give us fresh green dots and a little bit more upside. So let's see. But yeah, that is basically what we're looking for. But let's come on down to some more local price action because, as you guys know, we are hitting a local level of resistance. And let's just break down that local TA real quick. And while I'm doing that, guys, go ahead and spam those altcoins. Rob, the Crypto Snob, will count up the votes and let us know what coins we're going to look at. Rob, I have a few I want to run through. So let's do like three altcoin requests, and then I'll run through the altcoins I want to look at, and then we should be good. So spam those altcoins right now, and we will go ahead and continue on with the local Bitcoin analysis while you guys are doing that. Randy says, learn from cool kids like Frankie. Shout out to Randy. Or learn from cool kids like Randy. Go check her YouTube channel out, guys. She's got awesome content. Shout out to Crypto Anon, XRP. We will cover XRP, no worries, bro. Your voice sounds sexy with a bit of rasp in it. Shout out to Altcoin Corey. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for the compliment, my friend. Maybe we'll have to keep that rasp somehow. Shout out to Altcoin Corey. We will get back to the rest of the super chats as well, guys. I will not leave the super chats hanging. But we got a lot to talk about, so let's cover it. So taking a look at our local price action here. Let's take a look at the next levels. Where are we? Right there, bada boom. So obviously, sitting here, shout out to anybody who watches, guys. Like, where's that resistance coming in? If anything, guys, if you don't understand anything I'm saying, it would help to have the levels on the chart. The levels are respected. Doesn't mean we're going to nuke from here, but they are respected. Like, where are we likely to stop off? You got a high volume node. This is not because I'm magic or I'm the best trader or I'm the best analyst or I'm smarter than anybody. It just simply has to do with the analysis that we teach here every single day. And you could have analysis like this and levels on your chart just like this by simply hanging out with us. So here we are sitting at the key level of resistance. Taking a look at the 4 hour, we do have the VWAP starting to roll to the downside. Now, something that does kind of worry me a little bit here, not worry me, but something that could be good for a short position. Shout out to Dark Crash. Shout out Dark Crash. Thank you for reminding us to drink water here every day on the YouTube channel. We were talking about you in the premium Discord today. Someone said you got into crypto because you heard that there was a lot of liquidity and you thought it was water. So you got into crypto, but then you stayed. You wound up falling in love with it after you learned that liquidity wasn't water. But shout out to Dark Crash. And speaking of water here, guys, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the Andromeda-bound alien scam water here. As you guys know, I'm pretty sure this is a scam, but it's hydrogenated water. It's supposed to be good for you. I'm pretty convinced it's got to be a scam, I would think. Oh, Gary BREAKOUT talks about it. Anyway, let's continue on. VWAP coming down on the 4 hour, guys. We also have somewhat of a bearish divergence here. Now, I don't typically like the look of this, right? But you do technically have lower lows on your lower highs on your momentum waves, higher highs on your price action into a key level of resistance. So we do get a move down. Not too shocking. But here's the thing. Look at your money flow, right? Remember, your money flow indicates the longer term trend. And I'm going to cover two things that may actually be pointing in the right direction if you want Bitcoin to go up. There's two things we were looking at that were able to give us a bearish bias to catch this short, and now we're also seeing things flip around, which we'll talk about it in a second. But potential 4 hour bear div here, I just don't really like the look of it, especially with the money flow coming up. Remember, the money flow indicates the longer term trend. When you have money flow coming up, it's indicating. And shout out, I forget who it was. Someone pointed out on Friday, someone was like, ooh, 4 hour money flow also coming up pretty nice. And we checked it. And I was like, ooh, it is popping up pretty nice. That's a good sign. So shout out to whoever said that in the chat. Like, Mafia members out here pointing out the alpha as well. I absolutely love it. But money flow crossing into the green and trending to the upside indicates that your trend is likely to continue to the upside, right? The red and green dots simply indicate the ebbs and the flows, right? So this would be a green dot, red dot, 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 green dot, right? But the money flow crossover, you could see, indicates that the trend will continue up. So you have to keep that in mind. So this is not a situation where we're seeing a massive bear div with money flow coming out and it looks super bearish, right? This is actually, I'd be cautious with a short here. Not that you can't scalp short here, just like we did right here. Just because you're expecting more upside does not mean that you can't catch a scalp short. But this is not necessarily showing a major sign of weakness because the money flow is coming up and not down. So there you go. But the red dot about to print or looking to print on the 4 hour potentially sometime soon could indicate that we could get some kind of a cool off, right, or a pullback. But I wouldn't expect it to be that aggressive based off money flow. And on top of the 4 hour, guys, look at your 12 and 16 hour money flows. Money flow on the 12 hour crossing back into the green. Boom. Right? And you guys will know on Friday when we were comparing, we even talked about this potential scenario where if you go to the previous bear market rally, we went into bar replay mode and talked about how this is a very similar situation that we were in with our bearish divergences forming, right? Higher highs, lower highs, and then your 16 and 12-hour money flow was also coming to the downside, showing potential signs of weakness. But when you're in a strong bull trend like this, especially with the Bitcoin ETF news kind of lurking over our shoulder, right, potentially looking to get approved, this could be, right, we were looking at this saying this is bearish, right, but because you're in such a strong bull trend, money flow will spend more time in the green than the red. And it's times like this where you'll potentially see money flow fake you out, where it comes out, almost crosses the zero line, or even fakes out into the red just slightly before coming back up, right? You almost crossed into the red here. This actually looks pretty bearish, right? You had confirmed bearish divergences, money flow generally trending down, and even here, like this looks like bearish consolidation potentially, VWAP rolling over, looking for a red dot. This probably would have been where you would be looking for a short. However, what happened, strong macro trend, if you were shorting this, you weren't paying attention to the longer term trend. And what happened was you didn't go to the red, you almost went into the red, and then you wound up just coming and taking those highs and continuing up for one last final pump to what? To do what? To come up and hit that macro golden pocket before finally getting the bigger correction to come in. Are you guys seeing similarities? Now, I'm not saying that just because this happened back here with the macro golden pocket, that is what we have to see happen. You can't trade like that. Just because it happened in the past does not mean that it is definitely going to happen in the future. But history oftentimes rhymes, and it's been playing out pretty well so far, right? And then you finally get the bigger pullback all the way down to the 786. And we are in a very, very similar situation right now. Excuse me. Where we saw the money flow about to cross into the red, now we're coming back into the green. Could we see this give us that second push up to hit that golden pocket or even the 786 before finally getting that big correction to the downside? So this is kind of how you have, this is not kind of, this is how you have to trade, right? You can't just say, like I always say this, trading is not as easy as just seeing a buy signal or a sell signal. It's not that easy, right? Because again, money flow is very, very, very reliable. You can see your last 12-hour money flow into the green basically started this entire leg up, right? So it's nothing to be messed with, but it doesn't mean it can't fake you out. And by comparing to past price action and everything we do on this channel, it's all finding information from all different things and having them come and agree with each other. So that little fake out into the red is something we've been looking at, and we could potentially see it give us a move to the upside, right? So that, and again, that macro golden pocket, just like in 2019, will be the next major target. So there you go. Now, if we get a pullback locally, where are we looking at, right? Well, let's pull up our local volume profile. Simply put here, guys, next target to the upside, obviously going to be up here. However, if we wind up, let's say we get some kind of bearish rejection at this high volume node, right, or Bybit POC, simply what we can look for is, let's go ahead and pull our volume profile. Fib, this is not a volume profile. Apologize for that. But from basically this impulse to the upside all the way to this level of resistance, if we cool off, two major levels I'd look at is the high here. I would look for the support resistance flip from this yearly high at 46K, right? Or this current high or old high, the previous high at 46K, right? So maybe we break above the level, we get a little rejection at our expected level of resistance, and then we flip that level to support before continuing higher. So level number one of local support would be about 45,976 or 46K. If we lose that level, the next major zone of support I would be looking at is going to be right here where you have a golden pocket, value area high, 786 confluence, right here, right? So between 44,791 and 44,123, or 44,123, as some people like to say, that will be the next level of support where we could potentially look to find some more potential scalp longs to maybe go and finally hit that golden pocket target that we've been looking at 48 to 50K. So there it is, guys. The long term, the medium term, the micro term, the short term, all the levels, everything you need to be sitting here and everything you need to be ready and expect what is going to happen next on Bitcoin. So With all that being said, let's see. Donato Cabrera said, no fear in the House of Candles. Shout out to you, bro. Not sure exactly what you're talking about, but that is right. That is right. Let's see. Shout out to Wick said, Wick said, oh, man, that's a pretty brutal cough. If only you had some water to help you out. Yes, I'm actually going to chug that water in just a second. Let's see. On my third... GR. I don't know what that means, but he says, speaking like Frankie on 2X now. Let's go. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy Crypto. Or just Moon Boot Boy. Let's see. Crypto Anon said, happy birthday, Rob the Crypto Snob. As you guys know, it is Rob's birthday. Wish him a happy birthday in the chat. Let's go. Crypto Naughty said, are you going to look at ETH? Yes, guys. We probably went a little long here. We got some interesting price action on Bitcoin. So, without further ado, I think everybody spammed their altcoins, I believe. So spam those alts if you have not already. Rob the Crypto Snob will let us know which ones we're looking at. And we're going to start off with Ethereum, which wound up coming right up into our target. But let's just read these super chats really quickly, guys. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Shout out to Ian. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Sensei, the entry at the naked point of control Bybit 47,236 was beautiful, but got my stop loss hit as it retraced back. Now I'm... fuming. Same mess happened in Solana long at 87. Respect for the levels provided by you. Shout out to Ian. I appreciate you for saying that, bro. And listen to me. You are going to get stop hunted, stopped out. Sometimes there's no way to avoid that. Obviously, you could try, but sometimes it is very, very, very hard to avoid that. But just don't let it shake you, bro. Keep on, keep it on, and you will get past these obstacles. I promise you. And I get stop hunted all the time as well. So don't think that it's something that you're necessarily doing wrong. But if you have any questions, hit me up. I always try to answer as much as I can. So shout out to Ian. But nice, bro. Yeah, the levels are respected. And as long as you're looking at the right places, it seems like maybe just adjusting your stop loss a little bit. And I always tell people a simple way to try to avoid getting stop hunted would be to enter your trades where you think other people's stop losses are. So when they get stop hunted, you actually enter your trade, right? So that's an easy kind of way to try to avoid that. But there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. Shout out to Altcoin Corey. Thank you for the thank you for the super chat. He was commenting on my sexy voice. Shout out to you, bro. And we got Bubba's Crypto saying, smash that like button for the sauce. It's easy and it's free 99. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto. Yeah, smash that like button if you have not already. The easiest and freest way to support the channel. I appreciate it. And then Creighton C, thank you for the super chat, says usually on approach the sell the news moments isn't the announcement. It's the listing date or a little before it, like when the futures listed. Shout out to Creighton C, dropping the sauce in the chat, bro. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, like I said, you know, it's not like as soon as it gets approved, it just insta-dumps, usually. Like, I mean, you usually get some kind of FOMO pump, fake everybody out. Everyone thinks it's going to $1 million, and then you just wind up reversing back to the downside. So, yeah, just be careful. It's not just like if you're thinking about just waiting for the approval to go through and then shorting, like not the best way to trade. I could promise you that. But shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for dropping that sauce. And then we got Dave Digital said 1618 equals $94,501. Can we hit 100K by the end of the year? I don't know. I don't know if we can. Potentially. Anything can happen. But thank you. Dave dropping the sauce in the chat too. Let's go, bro. Shout out to you. Thank you to Bubba's Crypto for dropping those 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Thank you to Zocor for getting that membership. Welcome to the Goodfellas, bro. I appreciate you. And happy anniversary to Wick and Wick's wifey, Wick Fine 89, if you guys didn't know. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Thank you for showing love. Let's go. And then we got Bubba's Crypto said, take 2 seconds and smash that like button. Love the CandleMafia. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto. I love your avatar. It's my favorite avatar on YouTube. Shout out to you. It's a Frankie Candles logo, just saying. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto. Absolute OG of the channel. Thank you for the super chat. A $20 super chat. And thank you for reminding people to smash those like buttons. And then last but not least, not last but not least, shout out to Dave Digital said, I did a thing. You did the thing too, right? Shout out to Dave Digital. I do things, but not as many things as Darren does, because Darren does things all the time. So shout out to Dave Digital. I appreciate you so much, bro. I got to answer your DM. I saw your DM, or I saw your answer to my DM, so I will DM you back. But shout out to Golden, last but not least. He said, bro, thank you for the $20 super chat. He said, I've seen it all, including all the bad influencers. You're incredibly humble, on point, and give the best education for free. I've learned so much from you. It helped more than you know. Thank you so much. And Golden, thank you so much for gifting all the memberships, bro. You're an absolute legend, and you know I appreciate it. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the kind words, bro. It means more than you probably think. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, bro. And with all that being said, let's jump on into the Ethereum sauce. So here we are, guys, looking at Ethereum, and where are we sitting? As you guys know, we were looking at these two purple boxes as potential areas for not only Ethereum to come visit, but also for Ethereum to potentially reject. Now, Bitcoin came up into its golden pocket 786 retracement before Ethereum did. So on Friday, we were kind of just like, I think we were like hanging out down here somewhere. Where are we? Hang on. Let's pull up the... Yeah. So on Friday, we were kind of hanging out. Yeah, we were hanging out down here looking for an eventual push up into these two purple boxes, being our golden pocket 786 retracements before looking for a move down. And then obviously took a little bit of time, but finally, we got to move into that golden pocket, blasted right through it, deviated from our value area high of the local range. And where do we come into? Right into that 786. And that's why I say, granted, we don't give the spoon-fed trade setups and all the advanced, more advanced entry signals that we look at in the premium Discord. We don't give all that away on the live streams. But I will say, these levels, guys, and all the stuff that I educate you guys on these live streams is all actionable, right? Like, you can literally watch one of these live streams, take the levels, take the theory, go do your own analysis, and just wait for these key levels and do your analysis when you get to the level, see some kind of confirmation to go short, and the levels are likely respected, right? You can't just blindly short or long them, but, like, this is a lot of the work, right? Finding the actual reliable levels to reject from. Right now, fib pull's not that hard, but anyway, we got to move into the 786. We could wind up seeing a little bit of a pullback here, right? Because number one, we are deviated above the volume profile. And on top of that, we also came for that full 786 retracement, which is where we were looking for the rejection, which is why that purple box was there. We drew it on Friday or Thursday, I think. So simply just on schedule for Ethereum to do what we want it to do. Because as you guys know, Ethereum just does what we want it to. Let's see. All right, let's continue on. I'm going to come back to the chat in just a second. Crypto Cowboy said, you make it all sound so simple, Frankie. It's going in the brain, just not as quick as I would like it to. Well, Crypto Cowboy didn't go into my brain quickly either. It took me many years. That sounds like it took 40 years. But it took a very long time. It didn't take many years, but it took a long time for me to understand a lot of this as well. So the fact that you show up and continue to work hard, bro, and you're paying attention, and I see you in here all the time, like you're doing the right thing, and it eventually will come over time, right? You can't shortcut time. And so shout out to you, bro. I'm sure you're doing great. So stick with it and don't get discouraged. That's why I feel that most traders lose, right? Most traders are not successful because they give up too early, right? You gotta fail sometimes for a long time in trading before you actually figure it out. So, and then even when you figure it out, you still have to take losses, right? Like, I think that's another thing too, is like, people think one day they're going to figure it out and never lose a trade again and then just become mega rich overnight. That's not really how it works, right? So just understand that. Sometimes I take trades where I'm like, this looks great, and then I get stopped out, I lose the trade, and I'm like, oh, all right, next one. I'm not thinking like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing anymore because I lost a trade. So it's kind of weird. Like, once you get good at it, you still got to lose. But anyway, where is Ethereum likely headed from here, right? Well, obviously, I would be a little careful as we deviate from the value area and come into that 786 retracement. On top of that, your 4 hours looking similar to Bitcoin. VWAP coming to the downside. Once you print that red dot, could see a continued move down. However, look at your money flow. Remember, the money flow indicates the longer-term trend, right? So if you were short from here, right, let's say you saw the live stream on Thursday, you had the levels set on your chart, and you found an entry signal here and you took a short, would you be expecting this to get a mega move down? In my opinion, it's not impossible, but in my opinion, probably not, right? Because your money flow is coming up, which is going to indicate that this trend could begin and continue to the upside, right? So you could get a scalp short here, but I would be careful. And then it's nice, though, because let me get rid of some of these. Let me get rid of that purple box. And I'm going to get rid of the, I'm going to get rid of this, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to take the golden pocket off, and I'm just going to leave that 786 because this is the level that we're rejecting. That was the level we expected to reject. And we'll just keep this just to clean up the charts. Boom. Boom. There you go. But money flow is coming up here, indicating the trend may continue to the upside. So I would treat that as a scalp, looking at this value area high as a key level of support. Why? Because the value area highs, oftentimes when you break out, even if you're going to continue up, you'll break out, retest the golden pocket, and even sometimes the POC before getting the next leg to the upside. So key level number 1 on Ethereum's 2311, going to be a key level of support, right? I'll put a blue box there so everybody kind of knows. Bada boom. Bada bing, right? And that POC is also going to be a key level to look at. Let's turn on the golden pocket once again. Boom, boom. Where you have your golden pocket POC confluence, right? So these are kind of the major levels I would look at. So if we pull back, I would be potentially looking for scalp longs here, in anticipation of potentially coming up to higher prices. Well, Frankie, if we get that move, that money flow on the 4-hour you said looks good. If we get that move to the upside, what could we expect? Well, let me continue on here. 12-hour green dot printing, 16-hour green dot confirmed, daily green dot printing. Nice little trigger wave here. I guess you can call it a trigger wave. But nice little green dot here. Money flow still continuing out on the daily, but green dot. I mean, if we don't reject our first level of resistance, next major target, guys, remains the same on Ethereum, and it is sitting right here at 25.22 for a very specific reason. It's not just a horizontal level of support or resistance, right? It's not that I think that $2,522 sounds like an expensive Ethereum. This is a very specific level of resistance. This is the previous value area low of the not of the bull market, but of our local consolidation right here. Now, I very often compare this to Bitcoin, right? Because on Bitcoin, you have the bull market range that you basically pull like this, right? And then that's the major range we were looking at, with 48 to 50K being close to the top. And then we have this little area of consolidation as well on Bitcoin. I'll pull it up really quickly so no one gets confused, right? You have your major range, right? Your major bull market range. And then you have this little area of consolidation, which is literally the value area high that we're fighting right now. So, very similarly to how we saw Bitcoin fill. Let me break this down, guys. Let me break this down. Let's hide the next targets, clean up the chart, get rid of these local levels. I already have them marked out on other charts. And let's hide the macro volume profile. Let's hide these fibs. And let's pull up the, where is it? May 22, right? So this volume profile, this is kind of where we're deviating from right now on Bitcoin, right? So Ethereum, and I want you guys to realize, on Bitcoin, what were we expecting at these levels, right? We expected to break above the value area low and get a move to the high. And what happened? We got above the value area low, doorway to higher prices, and we got the move to the high. We tapped our head on the door. We tapped our head on the value area high, and now we're breaking out, right? So, with that being said, simply put, Ethereum in a very similar situation now, right? Where this is, I'm going to have to clean up this chart. I've been saying this for quite some time. But there's literally not enough time in the day for me, right? So that area of consolidation that we were looking at on Bitcoin sits right here on Ethereum. And Bitcoin flipped that value area low and filled the whole range up to the high. Could we see Ethereum do the same thing? I think potentially, right? But obviously, we're going to have to first, before we see that happen, we got to get a move up into our next key level, which is at $2,522. Not only is this an area where we could potentially get a rejection, but once we get the rejection or don't get the rejection, right, this is a good level to look at, because once we break above it, you could then look for it to get flipped to support. And once we do that, that's where you're looking up to higher prices for Ethereum, potentially targeting the value area high of that previous range, getting closer to $3,200. So can we see Ethereum perform this year like we saw Bitcoin fly through those ranges? Could we start seeing Ethereum, although Ethereum did fly through this range, then it flew through this range, then it flew through this range, and then it flew through this volume profile. Could it fly through this range in 2024, bringing us to $3,000? Potentially. I think it is possible. But with that being said, you got this next key level. So if we break out, we break these yearly highs, and we continue up for Ethereum, we are simply going to be looking at that volume profile. And expecting it to potentially play out very similarly as what we saw happen here on Bitcoin. You could see, right? Where you like, we don't make this up. This doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't guarantee it'll happen, but it doesn't happen by chance. Like we knew, hit your head, hit your head, hit your head. But throughout all of this, hitting our head on that level of resistance, we knew what we were looking for. We were looking to flip it to support to fill the rest of the range, and then boom, it happens, right? So that's the beauty of the volume profiles. With the volume profiles, you are simply looking at the 3 key levels: the value area low, the POC, and the value area high. And then the theory of how these behave always remains the same, where you're looking for shorts at the highs, right? And you can catch these nice scalp shorts, or you're looking for longs at the lows once you flip the value area low to support. So they function as beautiful ranges to trade. They also act as beautiful ways to predict where price is going to go, like we did here and on many of the altcoins. It is an overpowered trading tool, and I'm happy to tell you guys that if all goes well, we're releasing a special volume profile to the CandleMafia for completely free. A special customized volume profile that may have extra features for completely free, and we may or may not be releasing that tomorrow for a limited time for free for you guys. I don't know how long that limited time is going to be. It's probably going to be pretty long, but we will be offering it for free, and yeah, super excited about that. But yeah, keep an eye out for that, guys. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow on the live stream. Let's go. But that's what we're looking at on ETH, guys. Next key levels remain exactly the same. And again, this is Bitcoin. Let's go back to ETH. Yeah, that's basically what we're looking at. So just simply keeping our eyes up on the next volume profile. Door at higher prices. Very simple. So there you go. Shout out to Crypto Naughty. Said, I'd sip that sauce. Shout out to Crypto Naughty. You are naughty, aren't you? Shout out to you, bro. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's take a look at, oh, thank you, Rob the Crypto Snob, dropping the altcoins. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at XRP. Shout out to Crypto Anon. Let's go. And here we are. XRP, guys, like, God, man, I love my job. Now, as you guys know, I did kind of, I was crying a little bit over XRP because we did catch our nice little short here at the wick high. I was in the trade forever, holding a little bit of it, hoping to get stuck under the value area low and get a move to the value area high and the previous POC for extra gains as we locked in a quick $1,000 in about 13 minutes, shorting from this wick high all the way down to the low, locked in about $1,000. And then we're just looking for extra stop loss at entry, risk-free, guaranteed winning trade, looking for it to break down further to the value area, these two blue boxes essentially. And apparently, I actually never double-checked this. Somebody told me that the reason that my short close was not because of my, I thought it might have been because I didn't have a lot of margin on the trade, but I believe they delisted XRP. Let me just double-check that. Is that true? No, they still have it. Yeah, no, I don't know what happened. I got somehow, for some reason, my short closed, right? And what happened, like, I think it got closed, like, right here. I didn't get stopped out. And then what happened? Right down to the value area high and the POC, my final targets for the trade. Whatever. I don't know how that happened. So annoying. But anyway, what happened here, guys? We are finding support. Where are we finding support? We're finding support right where we thought we would find support on the previous value area high of the previous range. Now on Friday, let me see, what is this? This Sunday. Yeah, so on Friday, right, we were sitting right around here saying maybe we could get a move down to our next key level, which would be this blue box, more specifically the previous value area high. And this would be potentially this could potentially be the area where I would be looking for some scalp longs, which I did not take, obviously. I don't know why that would be obvious, but I did not take the trade here. But obviously, it would have played out pretty nicely. And, you know, what we would have been looking for here, I think we talked about on the live stream, was, I think what I specifically was talking about was a 4-hour bull div, which we actually did not get. So you didn't get the 4-hour bull div, but I mean, look even specifically, right? You bounce off the blue box, but the wick down to the previous value area high almost perfectly. This is the power of these levels, guys. Let's go. Shout out to Nikki94 Boo says, I'm here, guys. I'm here. You guys started without me. It's okay. You're the CandleMafia. I love you anyway. Shout out to Nikki94 Boo. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll just restart. Let me finish this, and we'll go back to the beginning so you can catch it nice and fresh. Shout out to you. But guys, got that nice little move to that value area high. We probably got some bull divs on the lower time frames, potentially. Slight one on the 2 hour. Barely. I probably wouldn't have even traded that just because it's a little bit sus looking. But there you go, right? 45-minute clear bullish diverge. Oh, no. Never mind. Okay, interesting. The entry signals here were not strong. You got lower time frame bull divs? Not really. Got a nice little swing failure here. So entering that trade would have been a little bit tricky. Technical bull div here, kind of, with the wicks, but I like to see the bodies. But the wicks represent price too, so you can look at the wicks. But, yeah, entering this would have been a little bit risky, but either way, you came right down to that value area high, previous value area high. You are getting the nice little bounce. And at this point, like I said, guys, like I've basically been looking at, if you guys caught my XRP Sunday sauce video, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But right now, I am basically, kind of neutral. I'm kind of neutral on XRP, right? Like we got the drop down. We tapped this macro POC, right? This previous point of control. Go to a higher time frame so we could see it, right? And what do we talk about all the time, guys? Like, why was this level so important? Like, this is kind of the if this then that for XRP. Oftentimes, right, we were in this volume profile, right? You got high, low, whoops. You got your high, your low, your high, back to the low. Huge deviation, right? Obviously, that was off some news. And then we came right back into the range. Where do we bounce off? We bounced right off the previous value area low, right back to the high, rejected right back to the POC, right to the high, back to the POC. And basically, once we broke out of this volume profile, meaning this range down here, sometimes what happens, like I said on Ethereum, what happens sometimes is once you leave a value area, you will come down, test the value area high or that previous POC as support before continuing up to higher prices. And what do? Literally, it's like you can't make it up. Like you might be thinking to yourself, like, where is this wick going to, right? Like, oh my God, this massive wick, like, why did it bounce here? A point of control sitting right there, right? It's almost like it's an algorithm. Like, oh, we have to touch the POC first, so just wick it down there and then continue back up. So very interesting. And the reason why this is somewhat interesting to me for a move up on XRP is because in confluence with your value area high and your POC, number one, your golden pocket from this whole move down to this whole move up is sitting right in confluence with that value area high, right? Making this a likely place to potentially put in a good low and continue to the upside. And we also come down, the 786 is in very close confluence to that POC. We have not touched the 786 yet, but we could have potentially front run it. Right? So this is, still the key levels to me right now of support. Value area high, POC 786. These are still the key levels. I'm going to leave these blue boxes here because these are still important, right? Because if we do want to go back down and test that 786 before breaking out again, that could be possible. And resistance remains exactly the same, right? If we come back up to the value area low, this is where we can look for not only resistance, but once you flip it to support, that's what opens the door to higher prices, potentially coming up to this golden pocket or the 786 POC confluence at 83 cents. Golden pocket sitting closer to about 75 cents. So this is kind of what I'm looking at on XRP, kind of just in no man's land, right? Because you have a value area up here, and you also have a value area down here, and you're kind of just in between them. And this was another reason why I was looking to hold that short from up here and potentially get a quick move down to this previous volume profile, was because when we looked at the VPVR on stream, we knew that a lot of the high volume node was like right here, and then we basically had a big volume gap like this. Right? So your high volume node was here, big volume gap here, making, if we were to break down from here, making it a likely quick move, which is exactly what happened because of the volume gap. And then we knew the support was here with this high volume node / previous value area high / golden pocket. Same thing with the 786. The actual volume profile may have changed since then because price action has developed a little bit, but let's see if we can pull it up. I mean, look at that, right? We just drew it, right? There you go, right? We don't just make this stuff up, right? Like, it's actually here. So we knew, right? Like, price action sticks to these high volume nodes. By the way, a high volume node is simply just this, right? This big spike in volume, that's a high volume node. Price likes to gravitate and stick to these like a magnet. But then when you lose them, especially if you fall into the gap, you're likely to get a quick move down to your next high volume node. I always talk about the lost kid in a mall, right? You can think of price as a lost kid in the mall, right? And, the high volume nodes are your mom. Right, so this is like probably the worst metaphor or example to try to teach this. But what is happening when you basically cling to these high volume nodes. And then when you lose your high volume node, you're thinking like, oh my God, where's my mom? Where's my mom? Where's my mom? And you're just going to go run to the next, mom-aged lady and hug her leg like, are you my mom? And those are the high volume nodes. So when you lose this and there's no gap, like you're basically free falling like, oh my God, where's my mom? And then you're just like, where's the next high volume node? That's like we were going to get gravitated to. And where's your next high volume node? Right here on the previous point of control. And where did we bounce? Right from that level. Right? Now, this is the theory that goes behind what we look at on the charts to find these levels, right? Not only to anticipate the targets, but also anticipate how quickly or slowly we would likely move through those levels, right? So there we go. Hey, shout out to Panda Punch in the chat. Shout out to you, bro. Coming and flexing that check mark. I'm working on mine, bro. I'm still working on it. I'll get there soon. Shout out to Panda Punch. And shout out to Golden, bro. What is going on with this man? Shout out to Golden, gifting those 50 Frankie Candles memberships once again. Bro, how many memberships did you gift today, bro? 148 memberships between everybody who's gifting. Yeah, you'll get it, my guy. Golden is a legend. Shout out to Panda Punch. Unbelievable, guys. This is like, shout out to Golden, bro. You are an absolute GOAT. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for everything you do for the channel. I'm going to do something for you very, very soon. Or as soon as you let me do something for you. I have a feeling you're going to be evasive when we try to do something for you. But shout out to Golden. We love you, bro. And shout out to everybody who just got a membership. Shout out to, I don't know how to say that. Tobilup. Shout out to you. Tessa in the chat. We got Dermot just got a membership. Shout out to, oh, God, it's going too fast. It's going too fast. Shout out to everybody who just got a membership. Shout out to IOU. I owe you a membership. So here it is. Thank you, Golden, for spotting me on that. But yeah, guys, let's continue on. That's XRP. And again, like those are the key levels of support. But looking at market cipher, right? Money flow crossing over into the red on the daily. You do have a green dot, so that's not the worst look. 2-day green dot looking to print. 3-day VWAP coming back up. Now, I don't love the money flow here on XRP, but I will say a lot of high time frame green dots looking primed. So if we do bounce, it would be, I mean, we're going to look back in hindsight and be like, I knew those were the levels, but, these higher time frame green dots could give you a continued bounce. But again, like I said, you're kind of in no man's land. Those are the key levels of support and resistance to look at. Alexander says, he says XRP holders are the most resilient people I've ever seen. I would agree with you. I've been holding my XRP, since before the lawsuit. I don't even want to say it. But I've been holding, I don't know. I've been holding, I've been holding my XRP for a very long time, and I've never sold it. I've just hold it, right? But that's not, shout out to Steven Sansbury. He says, great show as usual. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate you. Wick's wife, 589, says, TJ, you are the prettiest princess. Shout out to Wick's wife, 589. Happy anniversary. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but shout out to the princesses out there. Let's continue on. Shout out to Altcoin Corey. Said he was an XRP millionaire last cycle, and he's still holding. That proves to you that the XRP army is unstoppably resilient. Oh, my God. So there you go. That is what I'm looking at on XRP. Really don't love the money flow, to be honest with you, on the higher time frames. So, again, neutral. I'm kind of neutral on XRP. I'm just looking at the key levels, waiting for more clear signals, right? Because your money flow is coming up on your 2-hour. 1 hour's in the green. 4-hour money flow kind of coming up, but your VWAP's coming down. So I'm kind of neutral. And I am going to be open to the idea of potentially coming back down to that 786 retracement, which actually just disappeared for some reason. Pull it from here up to the high, and there we go, right? So 786, POC. Being cautious of this level finally getting hit. But other than that, like value area high. If you don't lose that value area high, you could potentially kind of bing bong around these two key levels. But let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, shout out to Dave Digital said, thank you for the super chat. He said, Filecoin for Drew, please. Shout out to Drew. I guess you want to see Filecoin. And that was the first one on the list. I skipped it for some reason. So let's go ahead and check out Filecoin. Let's see. Oh, shout out to Randy. Shout out to Randy. Have a good night. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you for stopping by. Let's see. Soul, okay. And then, let's see. Panda Punch said, who do I talk with about partnerships, Frankie? At Tony D. Hit us up if you're serious, Panda Punch. You could hit either me or Tony D up in our free Discord. If Tony D is listening, maybe you can drop your username or something in here. But yeah, or you can actually, you know what? You can email Tony D. If you could drop the public email in here for them to for Panda to email, or user is Panda Punch. Okay, that's easy to remember. Shout out to you, bro. So yeah, at Tony D, if you're hearing this, hit up Panda Punch on Discord. Oh, there he is. businessdev@frankiecandles.com. There you go. So if you want to hit us up there, we will answer you, Panda Punch. Appreciate you for being here. But let's take a look at Filecoin. Take a look at the weekly. Start off on the higher time frames. This is old TA. I don't know when the last time we looked at this. I don't remember when the last time my volume profiles were that color. But anyway. Yo, shout out to Golden, bro. He said YouTube limit is 600 a day, 2,000 a week. I have to imagine that you hit your limit, Golden. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And if I ever find you one day, I will give back to you. Shout out to Golden. I appreciate you so much, bro. You have no idea. And shout out to Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative, saying, we love Frankie. Shout out to Jessica. I appreciate you for saying that. Thank you for being here. And everybody show some respect to Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative. Let's go. Yeah, Panda Bunch said Golden is actually a legend. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. Red dot printing on the weekly. This is, but money flow. Look at your money flow here, right? So in my opinion, the stronger signal here is the money flow, right? That fresh money flow crossover on the weekly is, in my opinion, very bullish, right? So in the long term, right? Doesn't mean that it's going to moon from here. But in the long term, remember, the money flow crossovers into the green would indicate a longer term trend to the upside, right? So with that being known, not with that being said, but with that being known, I would kind of remain bullish on Filecoin, at least for the long term. Now, if we look at kind of its bear market range, kind of just been stuck in this bear market range. And as you guys know, look at the golden emojis in chat. You guys are legendary. Shout out to Golden. But the kind of the plan here, or what I would look for is, as you guys know, a lot of the altcoins have left their bear market, ranges, right, and gone for big rips up to test their previous bull market value area lows, right? So, I'm going to come back to that super chat. But you can see here, right? This is the bear market range for Chainlink. Obviously, we got the breakout and a big move up to the previous value area low, where not only, again, you would expect resistance, just like we were looking at on Ethereum. You're not just looking for resistance, but you now understand that if you attack this level and flip it to support, you're likely going to get accepted into the range and potentially come up to much higher prices. But obviously, a lot of these altcoins have left their bear market range, right? Chainlink, right, left its bear market range, and from breakout has pumped over 126%. Even Matic, right? Oh my God, we're on the weekly. I'm like, oh my God, what am I looking at right now? Matic, right? Bear market range has broken out for almost over 100% pump, right? So I guess actually this would be the bottom, right? So, but it kind of had a rally here in February, right? And then came back down. So this had that little like alt season that we had during the bear market. But either way, you know, they actually didn't even have that clear of a bear market range. This was kind of a bear market range before it broke out. And where did it go? It simply went to test a previous value area low, where not only you expect resistance, but if you come back up and attack it, you flip that level to support, you look for the move to the upside. So again, like we could go through all of these alts that have gone through bear market ranges and gotten moves to the upside, but you know, Filecoin just hasn't had that move yet, right? And some of them aren't clean, right? Some of the ranges are cleaner than others. This is, I don't know, this is old. I don't even know what that TA is. But let's come down to like Litecoin. Let's see. Yeah. What is this? July 2022. Yeah. So right here, bear market range, breakout. From the breakout, you have about a, come on. about an 85% pump into what? I can already see here that you're hitting that value area low. All right, pull the range. Boom, pumps right into that previous value area low. Do you see that? So the reason I'm showing you this is because when we go back to Filecoin, you can see you have your kind of bear market range. And the real thing I wanted to show you guys, that I'll pull up Chainlink because it's the easiest, most sexy looking example, if you will. Right, so you have the range here, but when did you break out? Right, like you came, approached, didn't break out. Approach, didn't break out. Failed breakout, failed breakout, failed breakout. Can we break out? Well, look at the weekly money flow. The weekly money flow was about to cross into the green, and it crossed over into the green just as you were getting that breakout, right? So you can imagine this is very, very similar to what we're literally looking at here on Filecoin, right? Coming back to the weekly, you're in your bear market range. Failed breakout, failed breakout. Well, this was like when it was starting, but failed breakout, somewhat of a failed breakout, but your money flow is about to cross over into the green on the weekly, which could be the start of those big moves up. And if you're just looking at money flow, weekly money flow crossovers on any altcoin that got it, right? Let's see. XRP obviously got a big move up on the money flow crossover into the green. ADA, fresh money flow crossover just starting now, right? So you have your kind of bear market range here. Are we about to get the breakout for ADA as well? This is a newer, let's find like more coins with more price action. Yeah, like right here, synthetics, money flow comes up, crosses into the green, big move to the upside. Let's see, OP, weekly, come on, what is going on right now? Oh, that's why. Got to unhide the TA. But there you go. OP, fresh money flow crossover into the green, straight to the upside. INJ, weekly money flow crossover, more upside, right? Even on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's like the best example, right? Because Bitcoin moves first, or moved first, I should say. Money flow crossover into the green, right here, much more upside, right? We came down first, but much more upside to come. This is a macro bullish signal. So again, when we come all the way back to Filecoin, you can imagine that you're just starting to get that crossover. And again, this is the major, major, major signal that we looked at, not only on Bitcoin, but a lot of the altcoins who expect that big move up. Can Filecoin break out? I would say money flow says it could see more upside, at least in 2024 or in the long term. And where would that major, major target be? Simply put, I'd be looking at the next major area of consolidation, which sits right here. Go ahead and label this out for you guys. And maybe one day, just like all those other alts and on Bitcoin, we can come back and shill those volume profiles and their reliability by showing you that we are likely to hunt out these levels if we get the breakout, right? So if Filecoin winds up getting a big breakout, I will simply be looking for it to leave the range, right? And this is over time, right? It's not going to happen in 2 minutes. But potentially break out, right? You have some, obviously you have some resistance here, some resistance here. So obviously you're going to watch that structural resistance, but if you're looking at your, and we could zoom in to get a little bit more detailed volume analysis, but you could see, right, there's not much volume here. And although there's not much volume here either, you could see you do have a little spike in your volume profile here, right? A little spike here, and then basically nothing until right here at 975. So in my opinion, 975 is the key level of resistance you need to get above, right? This could be possible door to higher prices, right? Because we're not knocking on the door to a value area low. That's why I'm putting possible. It's simply just a low volume gap, which sometimes you can see if you get into these low volume gaps, sometimes you just get a big wick and then you come back down, right? So that's why I'm saying possible door to higher prices. If it was a value area low like this, I'd say doorway to higher prices. But this is definitely, if you're able to get above this level, you're going to break into that volume gap. And potentially, just like you saw a quick move down through the gap on the way down, you could see that very fast move on the way up, again, through that low volume gap. And then that makes Filecoin a lost kid in the mall, right? And if this is mommy right here, the high volume node, right? And you even have like one right here. But once you lose those high volume nodes and you come into the volume gap, you're going to be like, oh my God, where's my mom? Where's my mom? And then you're going to see this little volume node here. You know, not a high volume node by any means, but actually, if we zoom out, it'll get a little bigger. Usually have to zoom in to make things bigger, but yeah, that is kind of your next significant area of volume when comparing it to basically no volume between these two ranges. So that's what I'd be looking at on Filecoin in the short term, because obviously this is not going to happen overnight. These are very, very macro levels. But that weekly, again, it's a weekly red dot, so maybe you cool off a little bit. But in the long term, that's what I'd be looking for on Filecoin. Short term, looking kind of similar to everything else, right? You have your money flow crossover into the red on the 4-hour, VWAP rolling back over as well. Yeah, 2-hour money flow coming up, 1-hour money flow crossing into the green. So looking very similar to everything else in the short term. So just remember, if Bitcoin moves, a lot of these bigger alts are going to wind up moving with it. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, this is kind of wonky price action, to be honest. I really don't love the look at this just because it makes it a little bit hard to read. But yeah, I just remember, you're like within the context of this volume profile. These are macro levels, right? So very key level to the upside is going to be 650 at your macro value area high. And then this POC, like this is the level you really don't want to lose, right? If you lose this POC, you could open the door back to the value area low. One thing that is nice is if you pull this kind of area right here. Yeah, here's some levels. I'll give you these saucy levels right here. Boom. And then you take this value area low, POC value area high, right? So this is, I know this is kind of like volume profileception right now. Elionic said, Frankie Candles, stop with the lost kid analogy. It's just terrible. Shout out to Elionics. Yeah, it's really not a great analogy, but yeah, it's it's just what comes to my head. But an easier way to think about it is just think of these high volume nodes acting as magnets, right? So when you come into a low volume area, like you can even see it right here, right? Like you have a lower volume area. So you got high volume, higher volume, low volume. When you break this level, you get the quick move up, and then you consolidate on the high volume node. So just think of them as magnets. That's an easier, more realistic analogy. Shout out to Elionics. I appreciate your honesty, though. But yeah, so you have two volume profiles here, right? So what I would do here is I'm going to take the macro levels off so you don't get confused. So you have one macro profile here, right? And then your local profile is just in between, right? So if we continue down, right, you obviously want to hold this POC as support. If you lose it, I would look to potentially come down and mess around in this local range. And then this, if you wind up ranging around here, you could potentially look to gear up to take a long position in anticipation of finally breaking out of the bigger range. But these are the local levels, in my opinion, right? And then we could pull some fibs to get some confluence. Let's see. Bada boom. Come on. There we go. So, yeah, 786. Got that nice 786 retracement in perfect confluence with your value area high. Turn it blue. Bada boom. So there you go. These are kind of the local levels I would look at. But again, with the weekly red dot, you could potentially cool off a little bit. But I'm looking at the long term on Filecoin, to be honest. I'm not looking to like day trade Filecoin. So that's what I'd look at. I just really pay attention to this stuff because honestly, guys, like I always say, more often than not, we're right. We're not right all the time, but more often than not, we are. Using this technique to find the targets and the breakout points of these altcoins have been like almost hit every single time, right? It doesn't mean that they're not going to hit eventually, but I'm just saying it's a very reliable strategy. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at on Filecoin. All right, let's see. Boom. Okay. Shout out to Soft Shell says I'm a mom. I loved it. Shout out to you. Let's see. Wick said I wouldn't go to the conference, but I'd meet up with you guys in Miami. We go to Miami? Let's do it. All right, let's continue on. All right, let's see. Oh wow, we're running out of time here, guys. We're gonna have to do some of these altcoins. I'm gonna do ICP real quick. I'm gonna fly through these guys for real. I might leave out some alpha just because we're in a rush. But let's take a look at this, right? Because we've been looking at something. Oh my God, let's go, baby. ICP is our. Never mind. I don't want to curse here or even spell out a curse word on the channel. But what do we look for here on ICP, guys? On ICP, looking for very similarly. I mean, oh, my God, this thing's hitting. Okay, so we looked very similarly to Filecoin. We were looking at, let me get some of this stuff off the chart really, really quickly, guys. Let me take some of the, let me hide this. Let me hide. Oh, let me hide these. Let me hide this. Bada boom. Hide the fib. Get that out of the way. So yeah, and then we will go ahead and I'll leave this, right? So what were we looking for here on ICP? As we approached our previous value area low, we were literally looking at the same thing we just talked about on Filecoin as well as Ethereum. Looking at the daily bearish divergence forming at the key level of this previous value area low, which is also the door to higher prices. So not only do we expect moves down from these levels, especially if you have a bearish confirmation like a daily bear div with your higher highs on price, lower highs on your momentum waves, giving you that open alligator mouth that typically, right, those are your teeth, that's your top jaw, that's your bottom jaw, and oftentimes when you get these bear divs, you will have that alligator puke out the purple candles. So not only are you looking for a move down with that bear div at the key level of resistance, but this also gives you insight to if you're able to reclaim this level, you now know that it's going to be more likely to get a move up to higher prices, at more specifically towards your POC at 1990. So what do we see? We got the confirmation of the bear div at the value area low. Beautiful move to the downside. And I think the reason I like this is because it's oftentimes when altcoins are ripping and we say that there are signs of weakness that people don't get very happy, right? People are usually pretty mad at that. Like, they're like, oh, this idiot's looking for a short as this thing's going up. And I'm just like, yeah, sorry, kind of. Yeah, kind of. We are. But it doesn't mean we're going to zero. But saw the bear div, got the move down, looking for the next major level of support to come in at this previous value area. I got to stop teaching this value area stuff, or we're gonna wind up losing subs because no one has to watch this anymore because we just give away all the secrets. But you could see that we were looking for that support at this previous value area, right? You have this nice area of consolidation. We pulled the range. Price comes back down, taps that value area high before coming back to the upside. Now, we're in a little bit of a weird situation here, if you ask me, just because if you come down, let's come to the 4 hour. Let's pull a fib from the high to the low. You could see that we are getting very close to a golden pocket 786 retracement, which could be where we get a lower high and a continued move down, in which case I would simply continue. If we break this low, I would simply say it's probably, if we break this low, going to be likely we get accepted into the range, and then these are your next key levels to the downside, simply keeping an eye on the profile. But if we are going to start a new uptrend, which I will be honest with you, it's a little wonky, right? 1 hour money flow coming up, 16-hour green. Yeah, it doesn't look, I don't know. It's a little rough here. 90-minute money flow coming up. How's our daily look? Green dot printing. If you do continue up, I'd watch the 90-minute money flow crossover into the green to start that move. So once that crosses over, especially if you still have your green dot on the daily printing, that's where I'd expect to move up. But, yeah, 15-minute money flow coming out. 4 hour red dot looking to print with money flow in the red. I would be careful of a rejection in this zone, right? Doesn't mean we're guaranteed to reject, but I will just mark this out. I would. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Right here. Boom, right? Be careful. Careful. Whatever. I don't care about the typos. There we go. Okay. Oh, come on. I canceled it. Unbelievable. Well, either way, right here, this purple box between $15.07 and $14. Be careful of a potential local rejection. If you come down, local support, in my opinion, would sit right here. You have a high volume node in beautiful confluence with 786 golden pocket. High volume node in beautiful confluence with that 786. So if you get a rejection, maybe we come up, tap this area, maybe we get a cool off. If you come into this area, which I will mark as support, this would be the next area of support locally, in my opinion. Could look here as well, because if you pull your volume profile, let's go from here to here, right? So here's your, these are your levels, right? Not trend line. Let's go horizontal ray, lock it up, boom. Value area low, right? So level number one, if you get a local rejection, let's come to the 1 hour, right? So if we continue to get a correction here, or even if we shoot up to the 786 golden pocket and come down, value area low locally is what you want to hold, right? You want to hold this level, because if you hold this, you have an opportunity to put in a higher low and then come up and attack this next key level again, right? So I would definitely keep an eye on that value area low. This is going to be key in my opinion. If you break that value area low, the next kind of line of defense would be this blue box between 1169 and 1107. So those are kind of the major areas I would be looking at for support. Let's go ahead and put a blue box here. Boom, right? Whoops. Forgot I had the lock on. Boom, boom. And then I'll just make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. Boom, right? So support level number 1 right here at about $13. Below that, golden pocket 786 between $11.69 and $11. And then below that, you have your value area to give you further context. And if you break this, doorway to higher prices. There you go, guys. Let's see. I wish I were that Mike so Frankie Candles would tickle me with his mustache. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, it is a tickly mustache, I will say. But, guys, with all that being said, let's see. We got 866 people in here, guys. Smash that like button. We're going for 750 likes on today's live stream. If you run it up to $1,000, likes, I will pick somebody in chat right now to give $100 of XRP to. Or actually not XRP. We'll give you ADA. It's just a little bit easier because you don't need collateral for us to send ADA. It becomes a problem. Bitcoin to get a little bit of a pullback here, it looks like. Yeah, getting a little bit of a pullback at that level of resistance. So, yeah, there we go. Dumping. Okay. Yeah, money flow coming on the lower time frames. That looks like a blood diamond to me. Oh, there it is, baby. There's the blood diamond. So there you go. But you guys should have a plan for this if we come down. If you watch the live stream, there is a plan. But guys, with all this being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I know we front ran some of the altcoins, but tomorrow we will look at the alts that we didn't look at today, which are Atom and ADA. So we will add those. And that's not Atom as in the name Atom. That is Atom as in Cosmos, as in interoperability. So go ahead. We will add those to the list tomorrow. But we are running out of time here, so we got to spin that wheel of pain and pleasure. Smash a like, smash a like, smash a like, smash a like. We're going to spin that wheel. Did we hit 550? Oh, we got 550. Let's go. And let's see if, where is it? Bada boom. Where did chat just go? I just lost chat. There it is. Okay, so we got 673 likes, guys. 750. We are going to spin the wheel 20 times if we get 750 likes, and we will be adding somebody. Well, we will give away 1 free month of the premium Discord to 1 lucky CandleMafia member if we get 750 likes. I don't know if we'll get that, but we will spin the wheel 20 times, so we do have some time here. Shout out to David Kelly says, bing bong. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you for tuning in. Oh, no, wait, hang on. Someone said, I hope you're okay, Pokemon Jack. What happened to Pokemon Jack? Oh, my God, I was just in a car accident today. Getting a free giveaway crypto would be awesome. Shout out to Pokemon Jack. Dude, I hope you are okay, bro. I hope you're okay. Well, we're spinning the wheel 20 times. Probably going to be likely for a bunch of people to win the giveaways. Shout out to Pokemon Jack, man. I hope you're okay. That is not good news, bro. I hope you're all right. Let's see. Tyler's like 20. Shout out to Tyler Durden. We were hanging out this weekend. Shout out to the TD, as we like to call him. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Tyler Durden. He's the man. He's like a perfect example of what the CandleMafia is. He's hilarious. Dude had me, Tony, and Mrs. Candles cracking up. Also, one of the very rare elite human beings who know what Mrs. Candles looks like. Let's see. Okay, he said, I'm okay. The whole front was totaled, but I'm okay. It just sucks. You know, I totally feel you, bro. I do. I feel you. He said, I have to look for a new car now. Shout out to Pokemon Jack, bro. That's not great, bro. I'm sorry that happened to you, man. Was it your fault or was it the other person's fault? That's always the okay. Someone slammed on their brakes in front of me to turn, and I'm not gonna lie. Usually, the person who hits the person from behind is the one that's at fault. I think they should change that because it's like usually it's the guy in the front that slams on his brakes for no reason that causes the accident, right? So like, why is it like, oh, you rear-ended him, you're automatically at fault? And it's just like, I'm not the idiot that hit my brakes and just slammed on my brakes. Like, every time I have to slam on my brakes, I almost always swerve to the side of the road because I know the guy behind me is probably texting and he's not going to see me and slam into me. But not everybody does that. I totally disagree with that law. So if anybody's out there knows some lawmakers or insurance makers, I guess, let's get me in touch with them. Oh, shout out to Tony D says, he says, oh, here we go, Tyler. Here he goes again. Using you to try to confirm Mrs. Candle's existence. Pathetic. Shout out to Tony D, bro. Tony, I thought we were on the same team, bro. I thought, like, you were going to help me make everyone believe that Mrs. Candles was real. But no, you're just out here outing me, bro. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. As you guys know, Mrs. Candle's hand is really just Tony D's hand. He has very slender, nice-looking fingers. I don't know. Shout out to Invisible. Said, you're awesome, man. Shout out to you, Invisible. You're awesome as well, even though I can't see you, which is kind of a joke, but also true. I can't see you. But shout out to Invisible. You're awesome, too. Let's continue on. Wonderful day for crypto today. Let's see. Pokemon Jack said, thanks, streamer. I appreciate that. But onwards and upwards, right? At least today's markets are green. There you go, Pokemon Jack. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear, bro. It's never, don't get me wrong. Listen, man, it's, that is a horrible thing. Car accidents are such a nightmare. As long as you're okay is really the important thing. But I love that attitude. Onward and upward. Absolutely. Just like Bitcoin. But Tony has fabulous hands then. Shout out to Tessa. Hey, you're getting the approval from Tessa on your hands, Tony. Is it believable, Tessa? Is it at least slightly believable? Also, guys, shout out to Instagram. Not shout out to Instagram. But yeah, guys, follow me on Instagram. But I'm going to start doing something different. I've tried to do this in the past, so bear with me as I try to make this a part of my normal day. As you guys know, I'm not a huge just general social media guy. I'm not someone who just like puts, literally it's my job. But like, I'm not someone who just shares my whole life with everybody, at least like, oh, look, I'm getting a piece of pizza. Oh, look, I'm getting a bagel. I don't know why I'm naming all New York foods. But like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Not really what I like to do. But I am going to start sharing some more lifestyle type stuff on my Instagram. So again, I don't know when this is going to start, but I am going to start doing this. You know, maybe it's hanging out with Mrs. Candles watching a movie. Maybe it's out to dinner. Maybe it's out shopping with Mrs. Candles. Maybe it's out at a Bitcoin conference. Maybe it's Tony D in the studio doing some crazy stuff. I don't know what it's going to be. I just want to share more of my actual personal life with you guys. I think it would be really cool. So follow me on Instagram, Frankie_Candles. Basically right now, we basically just post like stream clips and like clipped up tutorials and stuff. And like, I don't know. I want to give more authentic stuff, right? Because, you know, YouTube's obviously the main focus. B Team Crypto said IG is good for jujitsu videos. I mean, I'm in. I'm down. I did jujitsu when I was a child. I don't think I remember anything. But hey, shout out to jujitsu people who do jujitsu. So never mess with somebody who does jujitsu. And if you do, make sure you knock them out before they get you in some kind of crazy snake hold on the floor and put you to sleep. But yeah. Beware of fake Frankie Candles Instagrams. Yes. Shout out to Jessica. Said I followed you for 2 years. But yeah, let's see, what are we at? Oh, 21. Of course, we got an extra like in there, or an extra giveaway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 giveaways. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Don't hate me. Shout out to Tyler Durden. But with all that being said, guys, a streamer said, whoa, Frankie has a lifestyle? Nice. Yo, you guys are literally my humor. Me and Mrs. Candles were talking about that. Talking about how, like, Tyler and, just because we were hanging out with Tyler on Saturday is what sparked the conversation. But, like, the whole CandleMafia is literally our people. Like, you guys have the same humor. You guys are good people. Like you seem like real, genuine human beings, and we love that. But, yeah. Shout out to, the fake Frankie Candles has more followers than me. Just understand this. Frankie_Candles is my actual account, and I will never DM you first. I will never ask you for money. Even more important than that, I will never ask you for money. And if I ever DM you, it's likely not going to be on Instagram unless I really start. I don't typically interact on Instagram, so just be careful. I'll never ask you for money or seed phrases. I'll never trade for you. I will simply only ask you for wallet addresses to send you money to, or physical addresses to send giveaways to. But, yeah, check me out there, guys. Like I said, I'm going to start posting on there probably a little bit more. Bear with me. Not a social media guy. I'm trying to warm up to it. So first post might be, like, very boomerish. It might be, like, dinner with the girl. or something. I don't know. It's probably going to be Boomery, but it's going to be a good time either way. So follow me over there, guys. And with all that being said, that's all the time we got for Bitcoin. Watch out, as we are getting a little bit of a push to the downside here. A little bit of a dump ski right at that key level of resistance. Just another reason to smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these saucy levels or bullish or bearish cases. That's all I got. See you guys tomorrow, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same place, same time. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing! Shout out to Golden for the super chat. Said, same for me. I will never ask for anything. Shout out to Golden. I can confirm that is true. We're just going to force things into your hands, Golden. Shout out to you, bro. We love you. With all that being said, you guys know what I'm going to say, so I'm not going to say it. I'll see you guys later. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Ayo, Jay.
I can't take no loss.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now. So I need that go, y'all. Got hits when he throwing the fastball. Just too quick for it, peeling off like the whip orange. Seen they effort, this piss poor. I got too much, I gotta tend to. Car payments and the rent due. Told y'all that I'm 6 foot, but with the money stabbing, I'm 10-2. Too much that I've been through, so I put it all in that rear view. Clean money in a black whip, got old problems with the friends new. Yeah, I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. Yeah, I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out the stands. I deserve another 100 bands. I deserve another 100 fans. Told them this was always in the plans. I just did it cause they said I can. Blowing euros when I'm down in France. Labels asking how I build a brand. Told them put a check up in my hands. Boy got time, no cap. Made a few checks, but they all in the rest. Had a few friends, but they stuck in the past. I don't even trip when I'm thinking about that. Hopped in the whip and we all in black. Shawty wanna ride to the hop in the back. 0 to 100, seen the rev on the dash. They ain't catching up, dog, I'm moving too fast. I'm in the big leagues. Told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in a big league.
That's the first water I've drinking in about 2 weeks, guys. So shout out to Dark Crash for keeping us hydrated on the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
That's what I do behind the scenes. Every time you hear those goats on the outro music, hasta pasta, Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.